Hi, this is Kim Bellissimo, and welcome to Opening to the Wisdom of Your Heart. Thank you so much for joining, and please leave comments below, ask any questions, and that way, or any topics maybe that you want to discuss, and that way we can all explore them together. Today I wanted to talk to you about creating from your heart as opposed to your mind. What is the difference? When we create from the mind, we create in duality. For example, if I'm a positive person, a lot of times what will happen is in the external world, we'll create the opposite. We may be so positive, but we attract maybe negative people. People that are down, people that we need to uplift, people that we need to heal, that they are the mirror of our dark side. What the mind will do is it will create the opposite of it because it is trying to create wholeness, but it can never truly integrate the wholeness. And when the mind sees something dark, it rejects it. It starts to fight or flight. It wants to take off. Our heart closes down. And then we get into anger. We want to fight someone, we want to flee the situation, or we're paralyzed and we just shut down and tune the situation out. But what this does is it continues to keep us trapped into the mind. And being trapped this way allows us to be stuck, and we can never truly move forward. And somehow, during the day, we seem to create situations. So really our external world is just a feedback loop of our internal world. But our heart creates very differently. For example, if you were a positive person and you were certain, you always knew what you wanted in a situation, what may tend to happen in your world with the people around you is maybe even people working with you, they'll defer to you. They'll give you all the projects. You'll be doing all of the work because you're certain. And these people will unconsciously be asking you your opinion and your advice. And it's very interesting because they lose their information when they're around you. They seem to not know. And this could be very difficult because you may feel abandoned. You may feel alone. You may feel like the burden is all on your shoulder and that you're having to take on the whole project. And so people seem to disappear. And just notice if that's ever happened to you if you're a certain person where you know exactly what it is that you want. It's amazing because our energy will create the opposite of people around, where it's easy for them to defer to us. And if you have people, or maybe you're on the opposite side of that, where sometimes you just don't know. You don't know how to move forward. And a lot of times, this not knowing how to move forward, the mind always wants to know how to do something. And if it doesn't know how to do it, it doesn't move. The body doesn't move. We don't know quite how to proceed. And I want you to notice when that happens, what you do. Do you become paralyzed? Do you get anxious? Do you become stuck? When we don't know how to get there, it creates a lot of confusion. It creates a lot of anxiety. But really, the mind is not a great creator. The mind can create some great pictures about what it is that we do want. But I want to give you just some awareness about your external world and what shows up in your external world. If what shows up is the opposite of truly what it is that you want, I want you to just observe it and really be aware. For example, if you are that positive person and the people around you are pretty depressed or negative or always down, I just want you to just look at that person and just be aware of it, see it. And really just say this. I want you to say that they are reflecting something in you. They are mirroring something in you that you're not willing to see or to recognize. Now, I want you to notice how you feel. If somebody, for example, like in that first example of you know what you want, you're certain, and the other person is very uncertain, if they're always deferring to you, do you get angry? If they're always asking you questions and they're afraid of making a decision or committing, do you just check out? Notice if you start to close your heart and if you feel shut down, and then you start to get very critical of that person. When you shut your heart, you start to create more from the mind. So then we continue to create the opposite in our environment. And this is very different than the thinking of positive thinking, meaning the law of attraction, where we're vibrating in a certain frequency. And if we are vibrating in that frequency, then we'll attract more of it. But you have to understand that there's a lot of subconscious things in us that we're not even aware of. And the things that we refuse to look at or refuse to integrate or activate, these things will get reflected in our external world. And just know that these are great opportunities to fully integrate them. So now we can create in a new way. So how you can go about to create this in a new way is, when this comes up, is to really identify and see that this is the opposite of your position or your stance, and just to observe it. And then that second step is to see your response. Your response creates your reality. And if your response is that you get pissed off and angry and you want to fight, or if you just want to check out and leave and get out of the place, or where you may even be paralyzed, where you just shut down, tune them out, you're not even really listening. If that happens, that means you're in the mind. I'd like you to open to the wisdom of the heart. And opening to the heart is just being aware in that moment that your heart is fully open. And it being opened and you focusing on yourself and you choosing your heart to focus on it means that you won't abandon the space. By opening your heart and just keeping it open, a magic starts to happen. Something different starts to get created. And just even asking the heart, what do you want to create in this moment? Just asking the heart a question about, heart, let me be whole. Heart, let me integrate this part of me where I'm not certain, where maybe you had to become so certain about what you wanted is because you were afraid that if you weren't certain, your life would not manifest in the way you wanted it. And then ask the heart, heart, I'm opening to your wisdom. When you start to create a conversation with the heart and trust how the heart's going to create, it will create beyond what you know. And it's by asking the heart a question without knowing how. When you ask the heart a question like, heart, I'm asking you to integrate this dark side of me or the opposite within me so that now I can see my world truly reflect the wholeness of me. Because when we ask the heart to do something and you give it permission, it comes alive. It will do anything for you. So we all know what creating from the mind is like. It's stress, it's doubt, it's anxiety. So when we feel this in our body, I want you to do one thing. I want you to say, I open to the wisdom of the heart, and drop into your heart. When we drop into the heart, we can now experience a suspension. This is where the heart has the ability to create beyond what we even know. The heart brings things into relationship as opposed to experiencing your life as positive or negative. What the heart will do is it will bring those two together so that you become whole. And just by asking the heart a very simple question, asking the heart, heart, I'm putting my money on you, heart. I'm asking you to integrate me, to activate me, to make me whole. And by asking it this question without knowing how, the heart will start to create new things in your day. It will create new experiences that will integrate you. And by asking it, it will support you because the heart is all about relationship. It is all about making you whole. So just know that when things in your external world show up that are the opposite of the intention that you had or that you wanted, it is where there's a program stuck in you that's being reflected back to you in order to integrate it. And the only way you can is by opening to the wisdom of your heart. And that way it brings it into the whole and getting into this relationship that we'll be talking more about with your heart. Of heart, I'm asking to unify me, to activate me, and make me whole so that I can create from the whole and that my world around me starts to reflect different situations. When you start to do this exercise, even with yourself, this change will be reflected in the people around you. And during this time now, especially because we are becoming these diamond bodies of light, our worlds in so many ways are falling apart that we're having to activate and integrate all this new information. And the mind won't be able to do it. The mind truly has no answers. It is a dead-end street. But if we put the heart in charge, the heart automatically goes into relationship with the mind. And then it creates this beautiful harmony between the two. Please comment and let me know situations in your life that get reflected, that you want to change, that you want to integrate. And book a session with kimbellissimo.com. And thank you for joining. And I'm going to be having some courses, so please be on the lookout on Facebook and through my email at kimbellissimo.com. Thank you for joining. And open to the wisdom of your heart. And as you bring it into your heart, it is the 0 point canceling it out so we can all create our lives in a new way. Thank you.